Well, race fans, some of our driver profiles that we've shown you here with the Hammer Down iRacing League have been from drivers that have been involved in the sport and involved in iRacing for sometimes years at a time. And now we're going to talk to a driver here, Richard Spahr, who drives the number 20 machine, or you might see him in the number 71 as well. That is fairly new to iRacing. And so we're going to talk to him today and get a little bit of information about the driver underneath the helmet and behind the wheel. Richard, I want to start out with this question. I know that you've only been on iRacing for a short amount of time here, but did you have involvement in auto racing of any kind prior to joining iRacing?
Yeah, growing up, I spent a lot of time with my dad at the track. He used to drive late models, and I was changing rear ends and changing swing arm on the car, things like that. Before I could ride a bike. So I've been around the sport for a really long time, and had a couple of buddies that joined iRacing, and I figured I don't really have the kind of money that it takes to follow a big series or field a car every night. So this is pretty much as close as I was going to get. So. Kind of joined it with them, and it's been fun so far.
Oh, we're talking here with Richard Spahr, born in '94 from Missouri. So, Richard, you're from late model and modified country, and you grew up in the sport for your whole life here. So, being around the sport, and what was it about iRacing that drew you to that? And some of these league races, I'm sure that when they came out with dirt, it seemed like the whole dirt racing community was abuzz about the fact that a platform as big as iRacing was now adding dirt cars and dirt tracks.
Yeah, like I said, growing up around here, it was definitely when it came out with the dirt on iRacing, a lot of people joined, and being around the sport so much, it drew me in from the start, and just watching some of these guys, watching these league races on YouTube and Facebook and all that, it really got me interested and wanted to see, can I do it? Could I get in there and run with those guys? You get like Howard Weavers and all them other guys, that you watch on a regular basis, and you think, hey, I can jump in there and maybe run with those guys. So, it's definitely a big deal.
As far as the tuning, I mean, we talk to a lot of drivers that say the best thing you can do is get seat time, but it also takes a lot of tuning on the setups and things like that. Do you see a lot of transfer from your work on these cars, on the weekends and things like that? Do you see a lot of transfer to some of the adjustments and things that you're making on your iRacing machines?
Oh, most definitely. I know jumping in with some of the baseline setups at some of these tracks that I know that I've been at, like Knoxville and stuff like that. A lot of the carryover is amazing. I know we had a couple of different setups that we had ran at that track, and I tried them out, and the car was it was just better. It felt much more under control, and the setups on these cars can be incredibly tricky. And the seat time is, a lot of the guys say seat time, and it's true. Fine tuning those setups it's hard, and a lot of people with inexperience, it takes a lot more seat time. I was fortunate enough to be around the sport enough to know, okay, if I change this is what's going to happen, or if I change that, this is going to happen. So it definitely gave me a little bit of advantage starting out. But some of these guys have been doing it for a while on here. It's definitely an experience.
And then when you first got started, I mean, you probably started a little bit further ahead than most because of your experience with actually working on these types of cars. But when you got started, was there anybody or a team or even just an individual driver that really kind of helped you along or gave some pointers, or have you really kind of done this on your own?
I had a little bit of help when I started out. One of my good buddies, Cole Borgstadt, and Brandon Cruz, they're a couple of admins from the Outlaw Racing Series League here on iRacing. they kind of got me in to their league and working with setups with those guys, and I was helping them out with some setups. But a lot of these tracks, different cars and different things. Some of that you just have to do on your own, and you got to figure out what's comfortable for you and how does the car handle for you. A lot of these guys want to share setups and, how are you so fast? And it really just comes down to driver and how comfortable you are in the car. Because if you're comfortable in the car, you're going to be fast.
No doubt about it. The question that we've asked about a lot today is, favorite type of car and favorite track. And would I be accurate in saying maybe a late model at Knoxville is kind of what's up your alley as far as a favorite?
Oh, most definitely. I've run Knoxville a lot since I started, in the pro late models and the limited late models and the super late models, and I'm a late model kid, so late models are what I run most of the time, but definitely Knoxville.
Awesome, man. The question that we've closed these driver profile interviews with is, what is the one thing that you would say that, if somebody said, okay, elevator pitch me, why I should join or why I should join this dirt iRacing thing, what would you tell somebody new that would want them, that would get them to get involved, or even a tip that would help them if they're already signed up and just getting started?
Well, a lot for me, I would say, if they're getting ready to join, do it. It's an experience like no other. It's not driving the real car, it's not being on a real track, but it's as close as you're going to get to the real thing. As far as, tips and things, I know it's preached to everybody, but seat time is king. The more seat time you have in the car, the quicker you're going to be, the better you're going to be with setups. It's one of those things that everybody preaches and everybody says, it's not that big a deal, you just hop in a race, but seat time is king.
Just like the real thing, huh?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. The more laps you can get on a track, the better you're going to be.
All right, man. Thank you for your time, doing these driver profile interviews with us. Before we let you go, I just want to give you an opportunity to talk about the folks. I know you talked about some of them already, but the ones that help you out along the way in the 20 machine.
Yeah, definitely. Cole Borstadt, like I said, Brandon Cruz. Obviously, I have to thank my dad, Dan Spahr. I used to drive the 71 around here. Got to thank my wife, Shelby, and just all the different people that helped me along the way. I got Budweiser on the car and Lucas Oil, but there's a lot of people, and I can't remember all the names right now, but it's definitely been a ride.
Well, race fans, that's Richard Spahr. You'll see him out here not only on iRacing, but in with us in the Hammer Down iRacing leagues here. We've got all different leagues that you can pick from. He'll be driving the 71 machine or the 20 machine, and good chance you're going to see him up front. That is our driver profile here with Richard Spahr.